We chase love as if it will complete us, but the harder we hold on to it, the more it slips through our fingers. Romantic love is not broken. It is our illusions about it that break us. The truth is, what you thought would save you was never meant to. We are taught from an early age that love is the ultimate answer to life's longing. Stories, movies, and music all whisper the same promise. Find your other half, and you will finally be whole. Yet, time and again, people discover that the dream of romantic love does not end with eternal bliss. Instead, it often ends in disappointment, disillusionment, and heartbreak. The question is not why love betrays us, but why our expectations of it were never real to begin with. Romantic love is filled with illusion. At first, it appears magical, a whirlwind of emotions that makes life feel brighter, lighter, and more alive. You feel as though you have discovered the missing piece of your soul in another human being. But here lies the trap. You begin to expect that person to be your savior, your endless source of happiness, your cure for loneliness. And no human being, no matter how wonderful, can carry the weight of such an expectation. That is why the love that begins as fire so often cools into ashes. Disappointment in love is born not from love itself, but from the fantasy we attach to it. We don't just fall in love with a person. We fall in love with an idea, an image, a dream of how life will feel in their presence. When reality fails to match the dream, we suffer. The person we adored turns out to be human, imperfect, and unable to fulfill every need we placed upon them. It is not their fault. It is the burden of our illusion. The disappointment comes not from who they are, but from who we believe they should be. Think of how we idolize the beginning of love. The first glance, the excitement, the butterflies in the stomach, it feels like destiny. But this intensity is not meant to last forever. It is nature's spark, designed to draw two people together. Once that spark fades, what remains is not magic, but reality. And because we mistake the spark for the essence of love, we feel betrayed when it disappears. The disappointment is not proof that love failed. It is proof that we misunderstood what love truly is. Romantic love often ends in disappointment because it asks the impossible. It asks one human being to carry the weight of your happiness, your validation, your sense of worth. But the truth is, no one can complete you except yourself. When you expect another to fill the emptiness within you, the relationship becomes a battlefield of unmet needs and silent resentments. Love transforms into demand, and demand suffocates what once felt free. You cannot find salvation in another's arms. You can only find a mirror reflecting your own longing. Another reason love disappoints is because we cling to permanence in a world of change. Everything in life moves, shifts, and evolves. Yet we demand that romantic love remain fixed, eternal, and unchanging. We want the first kiss to last forever, the passion to never fade, the connection to remain untouched by time. But people grow, circumstances shift, and love changes form. Instead of flowing with that change, we resist it, and resistance breeds suffering. The disappointment comes when we fight against the natural impermanence of life, trying to hold on to what cannot be held. Romantic love also exposes the shadow within us. At first, love feels like light, but soon it draws out insecurities, fears, and hidden wounds. The fear of loss, the terror of betrayal, the desire to control, all of these rise to the surface in the presence of someone we deeply care about. We think love is supposed to heal us, but often it reveals the parts of us we never wanted to face. This confrontation with ourselves is painful, and when we don't understand it, we blame the relationship. In truth, the disappointment comes from within, not from the other person. Disappointment also arises because we confuse possession with connection. We mistake control for commitment and attachment for love. True love is freedom, a space where two souls can grow side by side without trying to own one another. But romantic love, as it is commonly practiced, is often rooted in desire and fear, the desire to have someone and the fear of losing them. This makes love heavy, a source of anxiety rather than joy. When freedom is lost, love suffocates, and when it suffocates, it dies, not because the love was false, but because the way we held it was. The greatest tragedy is that we enter love seeking happiness, yet we end up using it to avoid ourselves. We hope another person will distract us from our loneliness, validate our worth, or fix the parts of us we fear to face. But another person cannot save you from yourself. When you look to them for completion, disappointment is inevitable. True fulfillment can only be found within, and love is meant to complement that, not replace it. Until you learn to be whole on your own, every romance will end in disappointment, because you will always expect more than a human can give. So why does romantic love always end in disappointment? Because it was never meant to bear the weight of eternity or perfection. Romantic love is a doorway, not a destination. It opens us to the beauty of connection, the mystery of vulnerability, the mirror of growth. But when we confuse it with salvation, we suffer. The disappointment is not a curse, it is a teacher. It tells you to stop seeking completion in others and begin finding it within yourself. It reminds you that love is not ownership, not permanence, not a cure. It is a shared moment of beauty, fragile yet real. The answer is not to give up on love, but to see it clearly. Love is not about clinging, it is about flowing. It is not about demanding, it is about giving. It is not about completion, it is about sharing completeness. When you release the illusion that romantic love must fulfill every longing, you free yourself from disappointment. You begin to see love for what it is, a gift, not a guarantee. You stop chasing eternal perfection and start cherishing the fleeting beauty of connection in the present moment. The secret is this: love another not because they complete you, but because you already feel complete. Love them not to escape loneliness, but to share fullness. Love them not to hold on to a dream, but to walk together in reality. Then, even when love changes form, you are not destroyed. You have not lost yourself in them, because you never expected them to be your salvation. Disappointment will always come when you confuse fantasy with reality. But when you embrace love for what it truly is, a journey, a reflection, a gift, you can experience it without chains. You no longer demand it to last forever. You no longer demand it to heal every wound. You allow it to be what it is: beautiful, fragile, impermanent, and yet deeply meaningful. So let go of the illusion that romantic love is the ultimate answer. Stop searching for salvation in someone else's arms. Find wholeness within yourself first, and then share that wholeness freely. Only then can you experience love without disappointment. For true love is not about what you can take, it is about what you can give. And when you love without demand, you are never truly disappointed, because you never expected the impossible. We often feel broken by love, not because love itself betrays us, but because the illusions we build around it eventually collapse. In the beginning, we paint our partners in colors they cannot sustain. We expect them to be the savior of our loneliness, the endless source of joy, the keeper of our peace. When reality shows their humanity, our illusion shatters, and we mistake that for love failing. The truth is, love was never broken. It was our fantasy that crumbled. Disappointment arises when we demand perfection, when we try to turn a fleeting emotion into an eternal promise. Love is real, but the stories we attach to it are often unreal. The collapse of those stories is painful, but it is also liberating, because it invites us to see clearly. True connection was never meant to carry false expectations. When romantic love begins, it feels like fire, a force so intense it consumes every doubt and fear. That fire is beautiful, necessary even, but it is not designed to last forever. It burns brightly, to draw us close, to create intimacy, to spark connection. But when the fire cools into warm embers, we panic, thinking the love has died. In truth, love has only shifted, transformed into something less dramatic, but potentially deeper. The mistake is believing that passion should stay at its peak endlessly. Fire is fleeting. It cannot burn at the same intensity forever. What remains afterward is not failure, but the chance for real love, gentle, steady, and enduring. Disappointment arises when we cling to the blaze, instead of learning to cherish the warmth. Many are crushed by love because they enter it believing another person will fill the emptiness inside. But no one can complete what is missing in you. Only you can. A partner can share joy, not create it for you. They can walk beside you, but they cannot build your sense of worth. When you expect another to complete you, you set them up for failure and yourself for heartbreak. The emptiness you feel is not theirs to fix. Disappointment follows because no human being can heal the wounds you refuse to face. Love becomes a burden when you make it a remedy for your loneliness. To love fully, you must first learn to be whole alone. Then love becomes sharing, not begging, freedom, not desperation. We burden romantic partners by asking them to become our eternal source of happiness. That weight is impossible for any human being to carry. Happiness must come from within, from self-respect, growth, and presence. When you put the responsibility for your joy on someone else, you turn love into pressure. The smiles begin to fade, the warmth becomes obligation, and resentment quietly replaces affection. Disappointment is inevitable, because no one was ever meant to be your permanent fountain of bliss. They can add to your happiness, but they cannot be the root of it. You must learn to be your own source, and then love becomes a beautiful addition instead of a desperate need. Only then does it stop ending in despair. One reason romantic love ends in disappointment is because we resist the truth that everything changes. We want love to remain exactly as it was at the beginning, passionate, fiery, intoxicating. But people evolve, circumstances shift, and emotions move like the tide. When we cling to permanence in a world built on impermanence, we set ourselves up for heartbreak. The person you met 5 years ago will not remain the same, and neither will you. Love that lasts is not love that stays unchanged, but love that grows with change. Disappointment comes not from change itself, but from our refusal to accept it. If we flowed with life instead of resisting it, love would not feel like loss, but like evolution. Romantic love shines a light, not only on our joy, but also on our insecurities. It exposes the wounds we carry from childhood, the fears we bury, the doubts we tried to ignore. At first, this feels uncomfortable, even painful. We want love to heal us, but often it simply reveals us. When we don't understand this, we think the relationship is the problem, when in truth, it is a mirror. The disappointment is not in love itself, but in our unwillingness to face the parts of ourselves that surface through it. Love doesn't heal automatically. It invites us to do the healing ourselves. If we accept this, love becomes a path of growth rather than a source of suffering. Love suffocates when we confuse possession with connection. At the beginning, we celebrate freedom, joy, and mutual growth, but over time, fear creeps in. Fear of losing makes us try to own. We mistake control for loyalty and jealousy for care, but true love cannot thrive in a cage. It needs space, trust, and freedom to breathe. When we grip too tightly, we kill what we wanted to protect. Disappointment arises because we replace connection with control, forgetting that love is a choice renewed each day, not a possession to guard. The more you try to own love, the faster it dies. The more you allow freedom, the longer it flourishes. Romantic love feels like eternity, when passion is strong, but passion was never built to last forever. We confuse the intensity of attraction with the stability of forever. And when the fire calms, we think love has ended. But passion is only one layer of love, not the whole of it. By mistaking passion for permanence, we guarantee disappointment. True connection is quieter, steadier, and far less dramatic. It doesn't always sweep you off your feet, but it holds you when life is heavy. Love endures not because passion is endless, but because commitment, respect, and growth replace the fire. Disappointment comes only when we confuse the spark with the foundation. Many expect romantic love to save them, to be their salvation from loneliness, emptiness, or fear. But love was never meant to be salvation. It was meant to be a gift of connection, of joy, of companionship, but not the answer to every longing. When you expect love to fix you, you set yourself up for inevitable despair. Another person cannot solve what you have not faced within. Love thrives when it is shared freely, not demanded as medicine for the soul. Disappointment is simply the realization that no one can carry your inner battles for you. When you let love be a gift, it gives. When you make it a cure, it breaks. The ultimate truth is that love becomes disappointment when you seek wholeness in another instead of yourself. Only when you are complete within can you love without desperation. Love is not meant to be a crutch, but a dance between two whole people. If you cannot stand alone, you will cling, and clinging always leads to disappointment. When you learn to love yourself, to embrace your own company, then love becomes an addition, not a lifeline. It becomes joy, not desperation. Only then can you love without demanding too much. Wholeness within is the key to freedom from heartbreak.